with reactions trailing the unveiling of the memoir written by Mohammed Adoke, former Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, titled OPL 245, The Inside Story of the $1.3 billion Nigerian oil block in Abuja on Thursday. The event saw a gathering of prominent political figures, including Vice President Kashim Shettima and former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai. The book delves into Adoke's perspective on the controversial OPL 245 oil deal, which led to years of legal battles and international scrutiny. Vice President Kashim Shettima took a moment to extol Adoke, whom he had persuaded to return to Nigeria to bring closure to the controversy following his acquittal in the OPL 245 cases. Shettima also recounted his own experience as Borno State Governor when former President Goodluck Jonathan considered removing him due to insecurity in 2013. He highlighted that prominent legal figures, including then Speaker of the House of Representatives, Aminu Tambuwal, and Mohammed Adoke, advised Jonathan that he lacked the authority to remove an elected governor, eliciting a wave of reactions. Let's take a look.
Former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan GCFR, with whom we have shared the sword and have now recalibrated our relationship, was mooting the idea of removing this Borno governor, and Aminu Waziri Tambuwal, the then Speaker of the House of Representatives, had the courage to tell the President that, Your Excellency, you don't have the power to remove an elected councillor. The President was still not convinced. He mooted the idea at the Federal Executive Council. I admire Mr. Mohammed Bello Adoke fundamentally for his courage and for his convictions and for his capacity to stand for what he believes in. He told the then president that, Mr. President, you do not have the power to remove a sitting governor, not even a councillor. They sought for the opinion of another SAN in the cabinet, Kabiru Turaki, who said, I am concurring with the opinion of my senior colleague. That was how the matter was laid to rest, but that was how my relationship with Mr. Bello Adoke and Aminu Waziri Tambuwal became eternally sealed.
All right, let me take some reactions. This is from Professor Enakena, who wrote, Shettima's statements were likely not an intentional affront to Tinubu, but a reflection on a past experience meant to praise Adoke's integrity and underscore constitutional principles. If Shettima made the comment as a legal clarification amid political tension in Rivers, it's a responsible constitutional position, not an affront, but a needed reminder of the democratic norms. If it was made in a way that undermines or contradicts a sitting president without prior internal resolution, it could widen cracks in an already fragile political alliance. Well, Mani wrote, it is important to distinguish between suspension and removal, two distinct legal and constitutional actions. Sim Fubara was suspended, not removed. The question of whether the president has the authority to order a suspension is a different issue that merits debate. Let's not mix these issues for convenience. It is also important to note that those who are quick to cry foul are often the ones who are least interested in understanding the facts. By grasping the facts, you can be well informed and knowledgeable about the situation. Well, Mahdi Shehu wrote, finally, Kashim Shettima has regained his voice. He has sent a clear message to the lion that has swallowed all the village chickens. What remains to be swallowed is the proverbial tolo-tolo. Kashim is that tolo-tolo being targeted as morning, afternoon, or night meal during any upcoming feast or festival. Salah, Christmas, St. Lucia Carnival, marriage ceremony, Brazil Carnival, Buga at the Bola Tinubu Conference Center, etc. Everybody's cracking up. However, Kashim has made a clear statement containing a clear message directed at Bola Tinubu and co, daring them not to only swallow the tolotolo, but to mincemeat him for a pie. And that was quite the sort of message that we saw online. Like they're saying it's a direct affront to the president, obviously because of the suspension or removal, the constitutional rights, all of those conversations went by really quickly.
Okay, we had sort of a mix of these views shared earlier, which was that, yes, there's several ways to analyze that statement from Kashim Shettima. And I think the immediate takeaway from it was that people were like, oh, shots fired, this is a little bit violent, is how it came across, because people immediately linked it to the situation that happened in Rivers State. Well, now people are looking at it in different ways. Dr. Abati, I'm sure, will share his experience because he was in the room. He's saying the spirit in the room was not the spirit in the room. And he's also saying that, okay, there's a technical way to analyze this, which is that there's a difference between removal and suspension. However, the majority are saying that it's just a conversation about your principal being able to follow due process and being surrounded by people who will challenge him and be able to check and balance his authority to ensure that all that he does follows the correct due process. So I think for me, that's a major takeaway is, are our leaders consistently surrounded by people who can stand for the right thing, the same way that Adoke did, the same way that Aminu Tambuwal did. And then, what breaks my heart is that then you have, unfortunately, I hate to make it north-south, but then you have a southern situation. You have a south-south Senate president. You have South represented in the House of Reps, and they didn't stand for a Southern governor when it came for the time to do so. So the situations certainly rhyme. I don't think we can separate them. They rhyme. Was Kashim Shettima being violent? I think violent is a strong word, but I certainly think that the context is not lost, and messages have been sent. The art of communication is ensuring that people get the message that was sent. Did he clearly separate himself from what happened in Rivers State? Did he clearly say that, you can't compare what happened? No, he didn't. So it leaves it open to analysis and speculation.
Dr. Bati, in less than a minute, I know we have discussed
I've
this
already commented twice
because you were in the room
on this subject this morning. And I've said I do not think that Vice President Kashim Shettima was speaking to embarrass his boss. And I've made all the points, relevant points. However, there's something, as somebody involved in this kind of thing, that it is unfortunate that a book will be presented. A book that has 26 chapters, 271 pages, 5 parts, dealing with a very important subject in Nigerian history, perhaps one of the most controversial subjects in this country since 2011. And what the media is focusing on is some sensational part of it, and what some mischief makers and people who are speculating, that is a substance. I, as a trained literary critic, and as a book reviewer of many decades standing, I think we should be talking about the book. We don't talk about books enough. I think it's a book that everybody should read. It's Adoke's second book. He wrote Burden of Service. Now he has written OPL 245 about this controversial oil block of the Delta, one of the most versatile oil blocks that Nigeria has, 9 billion barrels of crude oil, which because of the politicization became very controversial. And they were looking for $1.3 billion that Adoke argues in this book is never missing. Key issues in that book about man's inhumanity to man, how people victimized him for 8 years. His name was being mentioned in courts in UK, in Italy, in Europe, and also in Nigerian courts here. At the end of the day, in April 2024, he was discharged and acquitted. His life was placed in abeyance. The danger is that people who want to serve the Nigerian government in one capacity or the other, you will discourage them. That's why some people, like Rufai, will say, I will never go near government. I will never go near politics. Because when people go there, they say they want to serve their country, and you demonize them, you keep their lives on hold. The other thing in that book is that Adoke talks about leadership. You will see many of our leaders, people that we respect, how they abuse their office just because they need to settle scores with other human beings. And then he talks about the media too in that book. The people he mentioned are our friends. I don't know whether to mention them again. They are in the book. So go and read the book. Because the whole idea is to promote a culture of reading. Not all this VP Fox, VP said, this and that. Because at the end of the day, some people will not even bother to read the book. They may even think that is the book. In this country.
Sheyi Makinde was there, correct? He was at that event.
His Excellency Governor Sheyi Makinde. He was the one who presented the book.
But I think that he's saying that the issues have not been sorted, the OPL issues as well.
The main point by the governor is that, look, this would trigger even further discussion. Because we don't really know all the truth. But Adoke was a major person that was targeted.
All right.
And he has given us material to study.
All right, because it's a huge issue. Shettima has found his voice. That's a lot of comments that we have seen from a lot of Nigerians. Rufai.
It's because of the leadership failure that led to OPL. That's why Shettima stated what he also stated about an intended leadership failure that will have happened to him. But thank God, he was a leader that listens like Goodluck Jonathan. See, that's what I'm about to say. Do you really want us to tell the story of OPL? Because if we say we should break the table on OPL matter here, a lot of people will be involved, and you know that too. If we say we should destroy the table...
Go and read Adoke's book.
No, apart from even Adoke's book.
Okay.
The Cable has done an extensive 3 to 4 part series. Adoke only told his story from his own perspective.
The Cable story title, Malabu Gate.
Malabu Gate.
That's the title of that article.
So, the Cable has also done a comprehensive documentary on it. So, even start with, was there due process in the first time at which that block was even allocated in the first place? Let's even go back to there. So, that's why I say, if we want to go into the...
Start summarizing the book.
If we want to go to the... What is it? No, we need our friend, former Minister of Justice, Adoke, to also sell books. So, we can't even go into it here. He needs to sell books. People need to buy books. But what we are just saying is, that story is a litany of the failures of government.
Right.
His harassment... And I know what you are saying. The NGO, some of them have even come here during all that time that they carry false story around him. In that, so I mean, the name is on my tongue. I will not mention it. Right. It's also a reflection of the failures of government and witch hunts. And people that served in that same government that witch hunted Adoke with OPL, because all of this was part of looking for the what is it called? Looking for anything to be able to smear Jonathan's government. That's what Adoke was, just a collateral damage. Right. Just like many people were collateral there. The people that were in that government that smeared Adoke, they were seated there, they were smiling. And we saw them, they called them for recognition. They shined it there. And they are singing Kumbaya today. They almost destroyed a man's life because of politics.
Isn't this what we
now
see
they are singing Kumbaya. They gave the honorable mention. They are smiling, they are shining it.
All right. Well,
let's keep deceiving ourselves in this country.
Leadership failure, but also, I mean, it's good that there is...
culprits in the hall. The people I saw there were people who came to honor AGF Adoke.
You want me to mention their names?
No.
They served in the government.
I was there.
All right. I think we've settled this issue really, whether or not.
See, anyhow, anybody decided to paint it. You listen to that. Shettima knows what he said, what he's saying. This is politics for you now, because Shettima does not use the same. He's saying remove, suspend, suspension, and remover. That one now is a topic now. That was not what he meant. Jonathan never wanted to remove you permanently. It's the same thing, just to step aside because you were the suspect at that time, that you were behind the Chibos girl at that time. That's why they say, okay, let's step you aside for a while so that he can have time to handle the issue. As you are still there, the governor of this thing, Borno State at that time. No, that was why he wanted to do that, not to remove you permanently. If he removed you permanently, who was going to take over? It was just to step aside for a time for him to be in charge of that, for him to be in charge at that time and deal with the people behind. Since he said you were not the one, but you were the suspect, that was the reason. Now, you regain your freedom. Now you can speak. So you know what you say. whether you say removal or suspension, that's the topic of the day. That's politicians for you. They try to paint it to see the angle where you were speaking from. So you said it. So everybody knows already. Tinubu does not have any right to do so. Well, now, you see, you said that one have the courage. At that time, he has the courage to say, no, Mr. President, Jonathan, you don't have right to do so. But Senate President now, being who he is, working for Tinubu, he does not have the courage to speak to Tinubu directly to say, no, sir, you don't have the power to do so. You can't suspend. You can't suspend a sitting governor. Tajuddin Abbas, the same thing. He does not have the courage to say, no, sir, you do not have the courage to remove us, to suspend a sitting governor. But the two of them, they come together, even to even make the whole thing worse. They say, vote. By voting, they have to come together. Let's see who is voting. This is direct. It should be direct. Let's see who is voting against Constitution and who is voting Constitution. But Tinubu, Senate President said no. They need to use a voice vote. Meanwhile, that one too is unconstitutional. Abbas, Tajuddin Abbas, and this one. So we know. So what else? Anyways, anyhow they try to paint it, you know what you are saying. You're saying the truth. Yeah, we know he does not have the right. Now you are free. Maybe you were blind before. Now your eyes are open because you can speak now. Nothing, you can speak now. You don't have anything to lose because you are not on the ticket again. You are not the vice. You are not going to be the VP for him. So you can speak. That is it. After all, you don't trust Tinubu before. Tinubu does not trust you. That's the reason why your mansion in Abuja today, you refuse to move in when you allege Tinubu of budging. That a lot of devices has been installed to monitor your activities, your conversations in the house. There's no trust before. So now it is obvious that you are not on the ticket, so you can say the truth now. That's it. Anyways, what do you think? So my own major question here is, I will still repeat, is Shettima going to work for Tinubu in 2027? Is he going to join coalition to work against Tinubu? Let's watch out. Please share this video. And please subscribe to this YouTube channel. I'll be your guide. Follow for more. Subscribe for more.